Hi there, Peter Barnett from NZR Real Estate again. Today we're out at Dave and Jacky Short's farm, just out on Halcombe Road, just out of Fielding. We're going to be talking a bit about their farm, but the thing that I guess makes their business quite different is a few other little things that they do. Bit of serial entrepreneur, sort of inventor is Dave, and so we're going to be talking about their business, Handypiece, and also something you don't see on too many farms. We're going to see a few Lamborghini Countach replicas. So Jacky, how did Handypiece start?
Well, the Lamborghini business wasn't really profitable when you've got 3 young children, etc. So we sort of needed to make a bit of a change. But how the actual invention came about was Dave had RSI on his arm, and his dad was older, and even though he still helped on the farm, neither of them could pull anything over the board anymore. So Dave, being an ex-car builder, decided that surely he could invent something, or we were going to have to buy something to make life easier. So he played with a few car parts and found, what sort of motor was it?
It was off the rear steering rack from a Nissan Skyline, a motor.
He shoved that up a Handypiece, and it was a Sunday, I think, and he kept coming up on the bike and grabbing me from the house and saying, "Now I've looked, look at this next part, look at this part, I can make this go." And it went from there, and then of course all his mates started to say, "Oh well, can I have one? Can I have one?" And then went to the Innovation Centre and at Mystery Creek, and 10, 12, 13 years later, here we are, putting kids through uni and paying the mortgage.
So tell me, how much has the technology changed over the time, Dave, since you started?
Yeah, there's been big changes in the technology. It's sort of, luckily all the electronics have got so much more advanced. We had the brushed motors before, and that was good for about 5 years, but not a lot of power, and we'd often get farmers ringing up saying, "There's something wrong with my handpiece, it's not going well." Or in contrast to most of them were saying it's going fantastic. And so it then meant you had a few people complaining when there actually wasn't a problem with the handpiece. They just could not get their head around the fact that it was never going to have the power of a proper overhead. So then when we had the inventions of all these drone helicopters and all that, well, the power was a lot more brushless, and I got a few from overseas and tried a few on the handpieces and realised that there was going to be no problems getting the power out of something really small.
So yeah, tell us how much has it grown since you started off?
Huge. It's like any small business. It goes, starts really hard with more debt added to your life, and then you had a growth period, and every time Dave sort of made modifications, then the interest was greater again, and then as the machine got better and better, then it's more, and people really like it for different reasons. It becomes more diverse. So not only, our main line is still sheep, of course, but followed by cattle for dairy, for tails and branding, and then the next one's probably alpacas.
TB testing of deer?
Yeah, TB testing of deer. The vets really like it for TB testing because it's quiet compared to a clipper. We have heard of the odd big dog being shorn, which we're going to experiment this summer with our beardy. We're not brave enough to do the cat. Yeah.
So Dave, Jacky mentioned before how the farm and the business sort of working together. So just tell us a little bit about how the farm business has grown over the years.
Well, how it started off 18 years ago, we mainly came out here because we needed a big shed to do the cars in, and then got more into the farming side of it too, while trying to develop the handpiece. And originally we had 116 acres here, and I leased a place next door, and then that came up and we managed to buy into that. So now we're running nearly 300 acres, and on that we do ewes, about 300 ewes, which we mate and run all year round, and like winter at the moment I've got 700 hoggets on.
So Dave, she's a bit of a wicked beast. How did this thing all start?
Well, many years ago, back in my 20s, I was working in the UK doing my OE, and went to a company that were making what they said was a Lamborghini replica, and went up there, and it wasn't really, but at that time they had hired a real Lamborghini Countach from Hertz in London, and these rat bags were taking the mould off it. looked pretty good to me, and so I said, look, I'll be keen on one of those, and took 6 or 8 months, finally got a mould. It was shocking. By the time I sent it back to New Zealand, the roof had turned inside out and a whole lot of other things had gone wrong with it. So set about, it took a year with another guy, we sculptured it back into the shape that it should be, and then took some body moulds off it. And originally when we did it, it was just going to be for the two of us to be able to make a proper Countach look-alike. But what happened was it took so long to make the moulds that we had to recover a few dollars, and by then there was a bit of interest around, and guys were saying, look, you know, I'll be keen on one of those. And 20 years and 80 cars later, 2 Targas in New Zealand.
In one of these?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Not too bad. The first one was pretty good. In fact, the first Targa in 1996, we've got the only record that I'd ever have, when they had the open speed limit during the Targas on the Tauranga motorway. We did 276 kilometres an hour, and then the next year Jim Richards came out in a Porsche and he was 10 kilometres an hour slower, and then after that they banned it. You got penalised if you went over 200 k's. So that's about the only claim to fame I've got in that game.
So if you want to know anything about Handypieces or one of these beasts, give Dave a call. If you want to know anything about rural real estate in the Manawatu Rangitikei, give me a call. Go on, Dave, let's give this thing a burn.
Righto, Pete, let's go.